What up, everybody? It's the Bains and Beers podcast. Your host, Not Bains. Here today with my co-host AJ and a very special guest today, all the way from Australia. Pav Dharia. He told me he's huge, so we brought him to go.
I'm pretty big.
How's it going, man? How's the show last night?
I'm a big deal, man.
Yeah, man. You are.
Who are you? The show was great.
Yeah.
For those people that don't know, there was a show in Surrey last night, and performed there for about an hour, and it was probably my favourite performance.
Like ever?
I'd say so, because the first time I performed
In
with
Surrey?
a live band,
No stabbings?
so no stabbings this time, and the cops were happy, the promoters were happy,
RCMP. That's good.
the security was happy, and I was happy. So it was great. Like the audience knew all of the songs, so they were singing along with me. And as a singer, when you're on stage and people sing your songs with you, there's just that's like the height of how good things feel. Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
I was so nervous about it because that was going to be the first live gig.
Yeah.
But it ended up being like.
So was it fully live?
The first half of it was.
Okay.
But the second half of it was like PA. So I had the songs playing in the background. And
What are the crowd like
singing.
for?
Live?
They actually loved the live,
Yeah.
and that was like
Yeah.
everyone was surprised that, like from our side, we were so much, so we were so anxious about it
Because
because it was the first time doing something like that. So doing that and seeing that sort of reaction was a beautiful feeling. It was great. Everyone sort of, and for them, like the feedback that I got was this was something that's never really happened within what they've been doing.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah. How was it performing with Tandor?
Good. She's a really good singer. Her Hindi is like lacking a little bit, just her accent, because she doesn't really have exposure to that.
Yeah.
But overall, I think she has a really nice tone. So it's good. She's still young, so it's going to take her a couple of years to really nail it down. But it's things like this that sort of make you, open to being able to perform comfortable. Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you. You were talking about Twitter before, and we were in the conversation. So what was the tweet? What was that tweet on the comedian, the African American comedian being racist? Your tweet so had a little bit of backlash. Like what were your thoughts on the situation?
I don't know what my tweet was.
The people
I
that
know
don't
what it is, but the people that don't know.
Pav Dharia is very Twitter famous.
Not really.
No, I'm pretty sure he said.
Some of my things are pretty Twitter famous.
Basically said something like.
They said something to do with the fact that I see you said. That we're so racist.
Yeah, I see Punjabis being racist all the time. Like why? And then
someone else, and then someone like makes a racist comment or something like that, and then everyone just loses their shit that someone said this about so and so. And the thing is, I'm not downplaying what's going on with someone being racist towards an Indian.
Yeah.
But like I feel like we're really racist, man.
Yeah. We're one of the only countries in the world which has fucking a product called Fair and Lovely.
Yeah.
And it's about making people look white.
Yeah.
Okay, so like why the fuck is that even selling still? Because there's always like, even now, like I meet you guys and I've met a lot of young blokes in Vancouver, and they always talk about like their skin complexion, like kale ho jana. Like we're gonna be in the sun, kale ho jana.
Yeah.
Whereas you got gore that are just like actually sitting in the sun to get a tan.
Yeah.
That's like there's this nature of not being comfortable in your own skin.
It's like don't play outside for too long.
But that comes from our mothers.
Yeah, so
like
it's like there's an inherent racism within like colorism almost. Like it's not really, it's not a different race, but it's like we act like people that are darker in skin complexion are somehow worse and not as good.
Yeah.
And then if someone says something about being brown, like someone who's not brown says something like that, and everyone loses their shit. Like, oh, so racist. It's like, fuck you. Like, don't be racist to yourself first. Fix your own problems, and then like.
But I think that relates to the caste system back home in India.
I shouldn't say fuck you. Actually, I get that. I've experienced so much racism myself. Like I've been in high school, been picked on a lot. People made a lot of racist comments towards me.
Really?
Yeah.
Growing up in Australia?
Growing up.
Were you like one of the only like brown kids there?
In my school, I was probably like, I think I was one of 2 Sardars.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So like, what kind
And
of
the other bloke never really got picked on because he's quite big.
Yeah.
And I always
So
got
size
picked on.
matters.
It does, always does. He didn't know what to do with it, but because he was never like a violent guy. but size definitely matters.
Yeah. That's crazy. But yeah, I think that relates. Like growing up, our parents instill these things into our heads.
Yeah, but like really think about it now for a moment.
Okay.
And the idea that if you're dark complexioned, that's not good. That you're somehow less.
And it's like you're growing up every
Below
day
us.
knowing that.
Fucked up.
That's messed up.
That's
Messed
so
up.
messed up.
Very
And that's
messed
what
up.
racism is, right?
Yeah.
And everyone says like, oh, you know, black people get treated badly, and it stems from like centuries almost of that happening.
It's generational.
And then like now's really the time for us to really stop within us first.
But we're still doing it.
Yeah, but then now I feel like if you're still doing it at home, you have no right for someone. If someone's racist to you, you have no right to call them racist.
Yeah.
If you're racist yourself. That's what my tweet really meant.
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, you think you're better than, I don't know, better
People
than us
think,
or some
yeah.
shit like that. Or like it's a big deal and you're not making it a big deal. But I'm like, I'm sorry, but this community is a very racist community. And until we can get rid of the racism within ourselves, we have no right to call someone else
Point
out.
fingers.
Yeah. Like fix your own house first before you go over to the neighbor and go, oh, there's a problem with your house.
That's how it's always been in our community.
Well, it has to stop.
Yeah.
It needs to change. And I think you guys are the ones that can bring about that change. You're the next generation.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking to you about earlier as well. Like, what is it about you guys that makes you feel connected, and what is it about you guys that makes you feel disconnected from our culture?
Yeah.
Like, what do you like and not like about it?
From our culture, for me, I think that I grew up with the mom born in Canada. I grew up with my dad came here when he was in grade 5. So for me, like I've always been like just Canadian. I've never really learned a lot of Punjabi or anything like that. So for me, I've never really been connected until we started. We were living together now because he moved here from Prince George.
Yeah.
So
gay marriage is legal here, yeah?
It's been legal here, eh? We're fucking forward.
You know what I think it is where we get disconnected is growing up. What your parents say, that it is what it is.
Yeah.
You can't have a conversation.
Yeah, there's nothing's open for interpretation, or nothing's like you go, okay, can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Nobody explains why.
Whether it's religion, we don't growing up, we don't understand our religion. It's like, okay, you got to do this, go to the Gurdwara, this. But why are we doing this? And when you ask that question, it's wrong.
So one thing I've always wondered is why I have to go to the Gurdwara on my birthday. And I always asked that, and they never gave me an explanation. They're just like...
They're not going to be able to give you a real...
Yeah.
Because I feel like they don't know themselves.
Yeah, ever since I've been older, like I just...
It's like sheep.
Yeah.
It's like being sheep, right? So when there's a natural phenomenon with sheep that if one sheep gets scared, all the sheep get scared.
Yeah.
So they all sort of herd mentality. Right?
Yeah.
And we have to recognize that because herd mentality is really good in a way. So you know that if a sheep's running away from a particular bush, there's probably some sort of danger there. Yeah. So before you analyze it, start running away.
Yeah.
Right? That's the best outcome for you to survive.
Yeah.
But we're human beings in that we can start to analyze things a little bit more. Like we don't have immediate dangers. We no longer go out of our house and like a lion's going to attack us. Unless you're in Jalandhar and there's a fucking leopard attack.
Yeah.
But you know,
you saw that?
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like we don't have those sort of dangers like that anymore. So now is the time for us to really slow down and go, we've been doing a lot of these things for the past however many generations.
And we don't realize
Let's slow down. Let's think about this. Let's talk about this. And I'm like, everyone I meet is so fucking smart. Like your generation of kids, you guys are so smart. Anytime I talk about something that's like logical, they're like, fuck yeah, like I've been thinking about that, but I can't talk to anyone about that.
That's the thing.
Because they shoot you down.
Their ways.
We get shut down right away, and it starts at home.
Yeah, it starts at home. And if at home you can't have that sort of an open relationship with your parents,
we're scared to do it outside.
Then you're not going to have an open relationship with your uncles and family, and overall with your community, you're not going to have that. So that's a big disconnect, and that's why I feel like I think
that's the biggest thing. That's where it starts.
Yeah,
it stems from the house.
Yeah.
Because even like when you begin anything, if you do anything different, that society's gonna look at you differently.
Yeah,
the house is the first person
a Punjabi
to say.
problem. That one, I think that's
it's
a social thing overall.
Everyone.
Yeah. Maybe sadde ch thoda zyada hunda hai. Like every time someone starts doing something a bit unique, until they prove that this uniqueness is better than if they were to, you know, follow the herd,
Mm-hmm.
then they kind of keep looking down upon it. But like, you know, in my life, when I started to achieve a little bit of success with music,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of support from my family. My family's always supported my music.
Yeah.
But like, even community wise, I've noted that a lot of people, they do support you.
Yeah.
But like, we feel like we always say that, you know, people pull you down and stuff, and there are people that will pull you down, but a lot of people do support good talent as well.
It's
So
usually
ignorance
like
is
a
bliss.
80-20.
It's
In
best
what
to just
way?
ignore the haters.
Yeah, I mean,
Act like
I
it's
just
not
don't
there.
think you're gonna get haters like that.
Yeah.
You're only gonna get haters when you start challenging things. Like, I say shit sometimes that I really believe in, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And some people have never had that sort of a conversation with someone, and they just go, "Oh," like the number one comment I get is that he's so famous that he thinks he's top shit now,
Mhm.
right? So he can say
Okay.
whatever.
Why do you
he
think people
wants.
think? You're
I
like
don't
that?
know. I don't know. But that's usually the first defense they'll have.
Think
Is
it's
like
'cause
he's
he's
famous, so he thinks
Speak
he's.
your mind, or do you think it's just like what?
I don't know.
you
You've
have
met
idea?
me. Anyone that
Yeah.
meets me doesn't say that. It's always
Mhm.
people that have never met me,
Yeah.
and they go, "Oh, he's famous now, so he's gonna be, you know."
Because they see a certain, they don't really know you. They don't, you know.
They don't. It's hard. Like,
Yeah.
Or do
you
you
know,
see that with other artists?
maybe, but my other artists, I don't see a lot of artists make a lot of opinionated posts.
Mhm.
You know, like Raftar's one of those guys that actually puts out shit.
Yeah.
That he feels something, he
Well-
puts it out.
Well,
That's
I've seen
kinda
it in the
dope.
comment sections too. You know, replying
Yeah.
to some of the people that are hating. You know,
Yeah, that's fun sometimes.
Yeah,
I saw it. It's
yeah.
a video.
You're always like
If
fucking.
you're gonna fuck with me, then fuck you back.
Everyone's always
Very
like, yo. Sometimes like everyone's like, come to my city, you fucking book me.
Oh,
The
why
poor
not?
guys just try to see you.
I wish I could go to every city. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
But there's obviously a certain
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of number of people that have to turn up for that. You know, that trip to be
100%,
worthwhile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Where do you think you're going next to perform?
What
would you like to go?
India is something I've never done. India is something I've been
You've
scared
never
of
done
doing.
India yet.
I haven't done India yet.
That's crazy.
So that'd be cool
Shit.
to go into India and start performing there. Because quantity wise, like, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
throw. You threw that one huge show where like you put in the what video? One of the video with like we were on the stage and like there was like a whole bunch of people there. It's like really really big show.
I think that was Toronto.
Toronto maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was a
might
huge
have-
show. It looked
Might have
dope.
been Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's a nice crowd too.
Yeah.
So what's the, like what's for music? What's next? Like are you going into like are you gonna go back to more production? Are you gonna go back to singing more? Or like what are you thinking?
I think I'm in a place right now where like I'm looking at a lot of people have realized that I make good music, and obviously I always believed in my music, but now it's sort of a point of making sure that that music reaches people, because a lot of times I'll meet someone and, you know, they'll say that something like Heat, for example, they'll be like, that's my favorite track, and I'll go, okay, that's cool, but like if you look at the view count and stuff,
Yeah.
it's not a whole lot. So for me, it's more about just reaching those people and working more on the marketing side of things, which means you sort of lose a little bit of the artistic side. You
Yeah.
lose like
Yeah.
having fun with music because you're thinking always about distribution
Yeah.
and things like
What's
that.
trending?
Yeah,
How's
all
it
of that.
gonna sound to the audience?
But I think the best thing is always like the best feeling is always when you create like a new sound.
Yeah.
You know, I was with J Static from
Yeah.
Toronto, and
He produced funk.
he
right?
produced funk.
That
Yeah, the
song
producer
is
of funk.
fire.
Yeah, it's such a good
Such
song.
a
right?
good song.
And so many people said to me like, "This is your best song." Before release, they were like, "This is
Mhm.
the best song we've heard from you." And again, the same set of issue, like it didn't reach enough people.
I don't think people are on like the level yet. The audience isn't like there.
I don't
to
know if it's
ingest
the
the
audience or
music,
if
I
it's
don't know.
like, because I tend not to do any sort of
Mhm.
cross promotion. Like I don't ask any artist to share my stuff. I'd
Mhm.
rather they share it if they like it.
Yeah.
It's like I share stuff if I like it. I
Yeah.
don't really just share it otherwise.
Yeah.
And same thing, like I expect, you know, if people like it to share it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that limitation is. That why the tracks that, you know, sometimes we put out a track that's really big for us, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really go as big as it
You
used to.
thought, yeah.
And YouTube's changed their algorithms a couple of times as well, I think. So a lot of that is dependent on YouTube, because
Yeah.
a lot of the tracks that get released in India have a lot of money behind them that go push with advertisement and things
Fake
like
views?
that. Partially. I think YouTube's cracked down on that quite a lot.
You
Is
think
it?
so?
Yeah,
So
I'd
it's
say
been improving?
so. I'd say
I
so.
still see 10 million views in 2 hours.
That's kind of
Yeah.
fucked up. Yeah. But I think people like they've now realized that like, that's a little bit too much.
The conversation has slowed down though on fake views ever since like I feel like nobody's really talking about it as much.
People not talking about it because I feel like people are not doing it as much because all of a sudden there was this huge sort of uplift in the idea like when you're getting like 19 million views in 2 hours or shit like that, like something's kind of not right. So maybe these guys realize, okay, let's not do 19, let's slow that down a little bit.
So how is it with labels in the Punjabi music industry? Is it like easy? Like is it easy for?
No, how is it? Eats your soul.
Really?
Especially having to deal with anyone in India.
Selling your soul
It's like
to the devil.
it's like
do they want
there
you
is
to sell
just
your soul?
you always feel like they don't have your back. You always feel like as an artist you are the person that makes that label.
Yeah.
And that label to a certain extent makes an artist as well, right?
Yeah.
So the label does the promotion and gets a song out there. But without that song, like what are you going to promote?
It's like
right? So the song, the base of any label is the content, is the music.
Yeah.
And I feel like record labels, Punjabi record labels, let me like specify that.
Yeah.
They tend not to really care about the artist all that much. And in that way, it sort of comes across as being like, you sort of just don't like dealing with it because you're like, fuck, I make, put my heart and soul into making something great that potentially, is giving that label like a huge amount of boost, but then you don't get that same back.
So are you releasing through labels?
I definitely am releasing through labels. I'm doing my independent stuff as well.
Nice.
But like I said, like dealing with it is something I just hate doing. I don't like talking to labels about things because there's a level of, I guess, unprofessionalism to a point. Yeah.
Do you find like the labels like when you release with a label and personal, like is always better with the label? Not like personal,
more of a
actual
push.
music, push wise and stuff like that.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Like, when you release with a label, there's going to be a little bit of depends on where you are as an artist, right? So if you're starting out, then probably not a good idea to release with a label. I know that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Because they'll basically release that content and not really put anything behind it.
Yeah.
But when you've been in the industry for a while, if you have a name for yourself, then it's a semi-decent idea to release with a label. Just depending on, what the structure is for them to be paying you, basically.
Yeah, following and stuff like that. I was going to ask you another question. So it's back to the tweets again. So another tweet that I remembered about and just came across it was the person A and person B who cheated on who. So
yeah,
you thought that person B was worse.
I thought so. I felt that.
Then after it was a tweet that said they're both bad, which they are, but
yeah.
In the situation, why did you think that?
In that situation, I felt like there was an element of. So, do you understand the word malicious?
Yeah.
So there was an element of maliciousness.
Like it's like.
So when someone
kicking
cheats,
somebody in the back of the knee.
I've been cheated on, right?
Yeah.
And that cheating wasn't necessarily to hurt me, because that cheating was like kind of done hidden in a way to not hurt me. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Found out I was stupidly hurt.
Yeah.
So this is you've been cheated on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was stupidly hurt, and.
Is this during your singing career or?
Yeah, this is like just the early a couple of years of romantic life or whatnot.
Yeah. So you were in love, deeply.
Yeah, and got cheated on, and I was cut. It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I didn't go out and publicly shame that person. Yeah. Right. And I think every time you do that, like publicly, and make that something which is about, really to gain like sympathy in a way, to try and get that sort of clout. Yeah. I don't think you're any better. If anything, I think you're worse.
So what if she was, like, the other significant was also like famous on Instagram? Right. Do you think it'd be a different situation?
Well, what can happen is, in this case, what I noticed was that sort of behavior from one person. So the cheating, I don't condone. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're cheating, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong, right? Sort that out. Yeah. The person that's being cheated on, I don't think you have sort of this Like, you shouldn't go out and then it becomes malicious. Then it becomes about destroying the other person because they did something to you.
Yeah.
And then it becomes about the ego.
Okay.
That I'm so hurt, like, you deserve worse than me. You get
Yeah.
that? So you have two options.
Makes sense.
You always have two options
Yeah.
whenever something like that happens. The first option is you go and you retaliate,
Yeah.
right? And the second option is you just let it be.
Yeah.
Ignore it.
You do whatever you need to do to get over it.
Yeah.
And you let the other person know that you're a piece of shit
Yeah.
and I want nothing to do with you. Or you say that whatever you've done, right, is in the past, this relationship can't continue.
Yeah.
And you have what you make that decision as like a mature person.
Yeah.
Okay. The second is you just go after them, and you basically try and make this as big a thing as possible to make the other person known as being someone of a cheating nature. So I felt like in this case it was malicious.
So
That was my opinion. That was my feel on what I've seen on social media and how things work and people I've dealt with. There are people that
From your own experiences.
from my own experiences that I think people that take anything like that and make it a public forum and that this is what's happened,
Yeah.
then that becomes like a little bit that's malicious to me, and I think that's worse.
So what if that was like her way of venting it out?
What do you mean?
Like,
So what's worse then? I don't get that.
Right.
I don't get that. Like, I could imagine I can kill your career tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like, say you do something,
Yeah.
right? And I can take that public
Yeah.
to try and kill your career,
Yeah.
right?
When
Yeah.
you're taking food off the table, that's like
Okay, but
Kinda.
let's look at it from
Also, this other person got a lot of fucking abuse, a lot of abuse on
Oh,
social
really?
media. Yeah,
A
but
lot,
for doing the wrong thing,
Okay.
as if most people don't do the wrong
Yeah.
thing. But
you
like,
made a choice.
people just like the
Yeah.
keyboard warriors just
Yeah.
saying like bad shit, man.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, it's like there's a level of like professionalism as well that you need to maintain when you're in
At a
that
certain level.
when you're in that circle.
Yeah.
There's a level of professionalism you need to maintain, and one of that is to like be a bigger person.
Yeah.
And I think being a bigger person to most people comes normally and
Yeah.
naturally. Most people don't like make things and blow it out of proportion.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, I don't like them. I don't like it when people take something that's happened and like try and hurt the other person like as much as possible.
Yeah.
Especially when like it's not really doing anyone a favor. I've done that with record labels, right?
Yeah.
I've done that in the past.
Yeah.
I've had record labels that re-released my music
Yeah.
under like music I'd given him like 2014
Yeah.
was released in like 2018. Same songs saying Pav Dharia new track, and it's not a fucking new track. That's
Yeah.
outright lying to the public,
100%.
and I've called that out.
Yeah.
So in a way, like for me, that was saying no, you're not allowed to do that. And I want to be the guy that stands up for the industry, for the artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to be that guy that goes, no, you're not going to treat us unfairly. You're not
Yeah.
going to use us, use the content that we make
Your art, basically.
and our art,
Yeah.
and try and just like 2014 or 2012, whatever something's released in,
Yeah.
and then 2018 you re-release it and say this is new. This is not new. You're lying.
Yeah.
So if you're lying to the public like that, then you need to be called out because that needs to stop.
Yeah, and it could come off as you lying, right?
Right.
So,
in a sense, they're speaking
but when
for you.
something's like a personal relationship, I think, first of all, I think a personal relationship shouldn't really be publicized.
in
And
the
if it
first
is,
place.
then why don't you publicize everything? Why don't you publicize when you're going to go have sex or when you're going on a date?
Well, then
When
it
you take
becomes
a
like
shit.
it comes like a Kardashians, like the Jordan ones.
Right.
Everybody's saying,
Right, then it
what
becomes-
if they did it for clout?
Maybe. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I don't know that, right? But all I do know is that as an artist, if you can't respect another person's bread and you're going to do something that, jeopardizes that, then you're no better than the cheater.
person.
I don't think you're any better than the cheater.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I stand by that, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to change my
Yeah.
opinion on that because I feel like that's a better way to live.
Especially since you've been through an experience like
Yeah. And I've also had an experience where this is when I was very young. My first girlfriend actually broke up with me, and did you guys ever have MSN?
Yeah.
that. Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I learned to type. But I put up something really rude about her,
Okay.
and it wasn't even
Like on the wall, right?
on like your status.
Yeah, status,
Oh,
status.
And someone said that you shouldn't be doing that, and I thought about it, and I'm like, wow, that was like, I really shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And after that, I never did anything like that again. And so I was rude, and I
Yeah.
said some dumb shit
Yeah.
because I was emotional. But that's because emotionally I was just so weak. Like I was so insecure that I felt like
Yeah.
that was my only way of like making it fucking
But that comes
like
with
just
growth.
taking it out.
But maybe
Yeah.
that was the problem in the other situation, right?
Yeah, and no doubt,
Yeah.
no doubt. But that doesn't mean I can't say what I think about it.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Right? So you can't have, if someone does something and they're emotional and they do something, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right? But if I say that they shouldn't be doing that, or that what do you think is worse?
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean that you need to attack me and go, your music's shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck does that even mean? That
Yeah.
What does that have to do with
have
anything,
to do with
right?
it, right?
This could be a
But
learning.
it's
People
even-
do that, like, and that's the
Yeah.
thing with Twitter, right? You can't explain yourself in
Yeah.
like 140 characters,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit of a problem. But I do tweet about it, and then
Yeah.
people sort of throw a bit of flack at me when they don't agree with me. A lot of from men's side, I felt like the men that were defending person A were the men that don't get women.
Probably.
Okay, so like
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
I agree with
So
that.
it's like white knights. So if you're not the kind of person that gets a lot of attention from women, I don't think you're in a place to really judge a person that does.
Yeah.
Because emotionally they're very different
Wait, which
people.
one was person A?
I can't remember now.
Fuck.
One or the other.
One was.
Take it
One
as
or
a-
the other. But I stand by that we need to be better. That doesn't mean that we, if someone behaves badly, you just fucking shun them and that's it.
Yeah, well, the
but
other
people
thing-
that behave badly still need to be called out on either end.
Yeah.
And it's not like you said anything bad.
But
This could be taken as constructive criticism.
and this was like this, like for some people, especially women in this case, treated this as if an attack, like to defend the cheater or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this has
So-
nothing to do with that. This just means like, like women, they'll slash like a man's car or
Yeah.
something like
Break
that,
the windows.
and then it's like that's fine, that's
Yeah.
okay,
She's mad.
right? I was in a, I was standing somewhere and the news was on.
Yeah.
And the three people sitting at the desk behind the desk, they're all women, right?
Yeah.
And something had happened where basically this lady had used a knife on her husband
Okay.
and done some fucked up shit to him, right?
Yeah.
And she had done that because he had been unfaithful. And
Okay.
all three of them said, serves about right.
So messed up.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck is that okay?
Yeah.
Right? But how is that like accepted? How is that serves about right? No, it doesn't serves about right.
How are you any better?
It's like the same shit. Like, you can't hold other people accountable if you can't be held accountable.
Yeah. If you can't control
Right?
your emotions,
Yeah.
how you expect the other to control his?
And I think it's like I feel like when it comes to that, like a lot of good guys get like slapped in the face for
Yeah.
being like just normal because of the dumb cunts that like people that slap their wives or whatever like that.
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's-
fuck you.
yeah.
Like, that's like disrespectful shit. Like, that's just like pussy shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, just get out of the relationship. Like, if you have to hit a woman, then you're in the wrong relationship.
then man up and walk out of it.
Yeah, get the fuck out of
Yeah.
it, right?
But that
But-
comes down to insecurities. I feel like a lot of men are very insecure about themselves.
Of course. But it has to be both ways. Like, if a woman does that, you should be going to prison as well.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree
100%.
with that. That's one thing that like it should go both ways then.
But that's where you look at our legal system.
And
too.
then it's like, no, she's a girl, so she's allowed to behave like that because girls are emotional.
But then they don't want to be called emotional.
But then you don't want to be called emotional. So what's the?
You can't win.
What is it?
You can't
You
win.
can win.
How do you win?
Well,
How
you
do you
have
win?
to win. You talk about it.
Very true.
You don't just go, no, that's just the way it is. No, it's not the way.
But I feel
it
like a
is.
lot of men that
It's
go
got to be
through
fair for both
go
sides,
through
I
these
think.
situations don't know how to stand up for themselves.
It's hard because you'll get, in a good way, women do stand with women.
Yeah, they
And when
stand-
men stand with men, it becomes, oh, you're condoning violence or
Exactly.
condoning.
It just looks
it's
wrong.
Like, yeah. So it's like, there
It's
are
a
certain
hard
things men
situation.
are allowed to
Well,
do and
that's
women
what I
aren't allowed
was
to do.
gonna ask. I was gonna be like, somebody was asking this a few weeks ago, and they were saying, why don't men hold other men accountable for their actions?
Yeah, I think that's true. I don't think we hold other men accountable.
Like our best
for
friends,
actions.
you know?
Like our best friends,
Yeah.
our buddy, you know,
I don't think we
maybe like they hit their girlfriend or something like that.
Or even a relative, you know, you
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
your relative do it.
I think that's another thing that we need to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like as men, if a guy is abusive towards his girlfriend or whatever,
Yeah.
Just because he's your friend,
in a way,
it doesn't
I tell you
matter.
what, I mean, as far as my circle is aware, if anything like that happened, we would probably just cut off from the guy. It would be like, that's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
We don't really want to be dealing with that.
Yeah.
Like that, that's usually what happens. But we don't really like go out in the public and go, oh, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
We just kind of slow away.
Yeah.
We do, right?
But
You
then
don't-
I was looking deeper.
But I think, yeah, you're right though. I think we should take accountability. If someone fucks up in that way,
Yeah.
like take accountability and go, no, you're a piece of shit. You shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing
Nah,
that.
this is wrong.
Yeah.
You know, actually talk to them instead of just.
And it's
like,
actually
kind of
wrong.
Distancing yourself. Right?
Yeah. And if a woman hits a man,
That's wrong.
she also needs to go to prison in the same way.
I witnessed this, and it's
I've
crazy.
witnessed that more
It's
now.
crazy.
Yeah.
And the girl gets a slap on the wrist, like nothing. You
Yeah.
go ahead. But if a guy was to do it,
Uh-huh.
he's spending the night in jail, and you know all this is happening. Blah blah blah. Charges, whatever.
There
blah,
was a
blah,
guy recently that got, he went to, he had like a rape case put on him.
Yeah.
He was really drunk and then
Mm-hmm.
later on realized that rape case wasn't even put on him by the person who he apparently raped.
Yeah.
It was by her friend and he hadn't actually raped her. Both of them were the ones that sort of took him home or something.
blah. Yeah.
And so things like that happen, you know, like there are
Oh
people
yeah,
that
they
have-
set him up, right? Or
I don't
whether
know
it
if they
was
set him up, like,
there was another one
maliciously,
where
but-
they set the guy up or something like that, and like they caught him on like security cameras.
Yeah, but like
that.
guys do get a lot of like, you have to be careful sometimes that
Mhm.
Very.
you don't put yourself in a situation where someone can say something and then, you know, that it ruins your reputation, even though you may not have done anything wrong.
But I
Mhm.
feel like it's so unfair in a sense because if a woman can speak freely and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't get taken as harsh, but we as men have to be very careful about how we word or what
Yeah.
we say
Yeah.
because boom, everybody's against you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
One word you say wrong and it's like, okay, he said cunt. Oh, why'd he say that?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally, I should probably stop saying that.
I was gonna ask you, how was singing the national anthem at the?
I fucked it up.
You fucked it up.
I feel like I did. I feel like in my head when I practiced it and I sung it so much better. And then I got there, and you know the stadium had about 40,000 people.
Yeah.
And you have
Holy
the
fuck.
Indian cricket team standing behind
That's
you,
crazy.
the Aussie cricket team standing behind you. These are the guys I've sort of not grown up watching, but
Yeah.
as a team, that's like what you like. This is
Mhm.
like oh
Yeah.
shit. And so like what happens, especially for singers, is when you're nervous. A lot of like there are a lot of changes in the blood flow. Not just singers, but you know how your flow of blood changes within
Yeah.
the body when you're
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah.
Like sometimes for some people it goes through the throat.
Your face goes red.
Yeah, or things like that happens.
Yeah.
It goes into different parts of the body, and you sort of have that fight or flight response.
Yeah.
So I find that when I'm really nervous, and I think most singers will find that when they're really nervous, their throat starts to shake. So it's like a little shake within the whole body, like ready to go.
Yeah.
And now if you look at singing and you're singing, if your like muscles are spasming like that,
Yeah.
it's very hard to hold a note. So the note that you think you're gonna hit,
Yeah.
you sort of don't hit it.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I felt like I could have, obviously anything could have been done better, but I was like, man, I wish I could have sung that better.
Wish
But
I-
I was just so nervous.
But how
that
do you
it was
deal with
like,
those nerves? Like, how do you control that?
You don't, man. You just put yourself in that situation
Yeah.
and you do it more and more and more and more, and
Until you
eventually,
get
hopefully,
comfortable.
you know, you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever be comfortable with performing
I don't think
one
so.
day?
I don't think so. I hope not.
Yeah.
You hope not, because it's not
I
gonna stop
hope
being
not.
fun, right?
It'll become one of those things that's just like, oh, I gotta do this now. But sometimes I do think like that. Oh, I
But
gotta
that's
do this
scary
now.
though. The day it becomes like a job. It's like, fuck,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I think production for a while for me became a bit of a job.
Yeah.
Mm.
And when that happens, it does kill a part of your
The
creativity.
creative side, yeah.
That's what happens. Like you see a lot of musicians, you know, when they start out, they're doing it just because that's the one thing they really, really
They
want
love
to do.
it.
Yeah.
And then when they have like, you know, a big hit song, then like every second song they can expect it to be a big hit or
Yeah.
something like that. And then that pressure does bring people down somewhat. Yeah.
What do you?
Happens to
How do
me,
you?
that's
How do
it.
you feel about the new sort of Punjabi rap industry?
The new Punjabi rap industry? What do you mean?
Like the whole like
The gangster.
rap and like Musewala or like Karnal, their type of music.
It hypes you up.
Yeah, I personally like it. It gets me
I like
going.
it too.
Most guys like it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, at the ages when you're in your 20s or, you know, late teens,
Yeah.
your testosterone's like peaking, right? and that's sort of when nature decides that you're gonna be like, you're gonna be a violent creature, you're gonna enjoy that or
Playing
whatever.
GTA all their
So
lives.
their music appeals to that sort of age where, you know, it appeals to the testosterone in that
Yeah.
way that I'm top shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know why anyone would want to give flack to anyone for doing that sort of music.
What about the singers that went from singing like Santi songs to singing these gangster songs just because?
Because they're catering to a certain crowd now, right?
I'll tell you what, Sidhu's gangster. From the point he first started making his music
Yeah.
to now. So a lot of what he writes is it's just within him. That's who he is. But people that change, like sometimes I've thought about writing some gangster songs. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm not a gangster. Like I'm not a person that,
Yeah.
you know, is, I don't, my thought process isn't really like that.
Yeah.
Like if someone says something to me, yeah, it hurts, but then I usually go, fuck no, something's wrong with this guy. Like, does he need help? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've noticed that with people that are really violent or like really bad towards other people
Yeah.
is because they're like,
Insecure.
it's like there's this wall of something, right? So
Yeah.
in order to protect themselves, they'll be mean to the other person to
make
try
themselves feel
to
better.
make themselves sort of feel bigger.
Yeah.
That's how we're like bullies.
I do that
from-
sometimes, but like that's like a normal human nature type of thing.
Yeah.
And what was the original question?
The Punjabi rap.
Punjabi rap.
gangster.
So no, you said something though.
Oh, he's
So yeah, so like, so there are some singers that
Romance to
just to
gangster.
appeal to
just to appeal to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that's up to them because that's a commercial decision they're making. How much of that is really them
Yeah.
will really depend on what happens to that track. Because I don't think when it comes to gangster, there's anyone really like gangster
Yeah.
rap. I wouldn't really call it rap. I guess it's a bit different.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anyone in his league at the moment. Like he's somewhere completely different to everyone.
It became
Yeah.
like a trend.
But then like Big Bird and
They've been doing this shit.
yeah.
but then like their production
It's amazing.
has
It's on
brought,
another level.
right?
Yeah.
So like if that production also needs to get the same amount of recognition as the lyrical content.
straight
Let's
up.
talk about that. A lot of production doesn't get like
The
you know,
production
Punjabi
never,
production,
like funk
Or
for example,
lyrics.
Yeah.
funk like a lot of the way the track is and how
Everybody
good it
likes the beat.
is JJ's work,
Yeah.
but he's probably not going to get as much recognition just
No.
naturally. Like producers just don't get it. When I was producing, like I never really got that recognition as such.
Yeah.
That was production, right?
Even like Karan Aujla's new song.
Unless you do an album where you go, I guess this is what really is, right? So I did an album called Red.
Yeah.
This was
Mhm.
like 2013 or something.
13, yeah.
And in that album, that was my album. So it was Pav Dharia, Red.
Okay.
And that was because I picked the singers,
Then
I picked the songs, and therefore it was my project. So
Yeah.
I was the director in the way,
Yeah.
right? And Intense did something recently. I
yeah,
think?
he just did one. Yeah.
So that's to get like
XL.
as a producer, if you want your name, you gotta take the effort
Yeah.
to get the vocals and get the lyrics,
Yeah.
compose them and produce them. Again, when it comes to the music video, you're probably not gonna get as much recognition.
No.
But I think as producers, you never really go for like general population recognition. You want just the industry to recognize you, and that happens pretty quick, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It happened with Snappy, I think.
Snappy,
did
yeah.
a song with Diljit.
Yeah.
But before that, he must have done some stuff
Yeah,
as
he did
well.
with Snappy. Yeah.
And then I've heard his name in quite a few places.
Just did,
So like I feel like
Sidhu's
industries.
album too. He was on there.
Yeah. So a lot of people like producers, industry will catch on to producers very quick.
Mm.
Whereas the general population, well, they don't really give a shit. Like, why would they?
We have one more person to
You know what I mean?
follow.
They're-
worry
why,
about, yeah.
why would you care about that?
Yeah.
And producers tend to be people that are like they
But
start
in-
out living in their basements and
Yeah.
shit, and so
Just
they don't really want to be
zoned
known
out.
or
But
seen
like,
like
in
that.
English music, they've become like bigger, like bigger than they've ever been.
Yeah.
Do you think the same thing would happen in the Punjabi
Like?
music industry? Like Metro Booming. Who else is there?
What's his name?
Metro Boomin. There's London on the Track. All these guys, they're like more out there.
Mustard
now.
on the
People know
beat.
they are.
Yeah.
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 Do you know what I mean? Do you think that would happen with? Because I know there's a lot of guys. coming
Let's
out
think
like-
about
I
it.
didn't
Punjabi
think it
music, you
is
also
that
hear it in the
much.
songs. Like Snappy, you'll hear that. You'll hear what's the other guy? Karan Aujla, Jeep Jandu.
Yeah.
You'll hear the names, but it's just I don't think people understand what their work
Other
is.
guys don't.
People don't care, and
Eachother.
like I just feel like people really don't care because they don't have like
Good beat.
they don't care.
Yeah.
Mhm.
People don't care because they don't care. Wow, that was very intellectual.
They
I mean,
just don't
people
care.
like they don't really want to spend time trying to figure out how this music was made.
What
They
was that, a
just,
flute? What was that?
you know, like if
Yeah.
you jump in your car, if you're not a car person, you don't really care how it was made or who made it.
Yeah.
You just want to go from A to B.
Yeah, you just care about
That's
the brand.
most people.
Yeah. But it's pretty sick how like if you actually like pay attention to the producers, like Manny Sandu does like behind the scenes of how he makes the beats and
Uh-huh.
stuff
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
So that kind of
He's got
stuff
a very
is
unique
super
style.
good. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got a nice.
But then, see, Manny's
Yeah.
known.
Manny's known. Yeah, he's well known.
because he's always in the videos as well. Like he puts himself in the.
That's one big thing, you know.
Well, it's the facial recognition
Mhm.
that the more
He's been in all music videos almost. Though.
yeah, because he's led the project,
Yeah.
right? So he's led his project. He's the one. He's the one that's made the decision of whether his project is like what his project needs to sound like.
And what
It
it
hasn't been
looks
like a
like,
singer
yeah.
that's come to him and gone.
Yeah.
Well, I hope a singer that's gone. You know,
Mhm.
I want to do a track with you, and then Manny's taken that as his track.
UK's a pretty big scene, for music.
Not anymore, man.
No,
You think
it's
so?
died down.
It died after Zeus. It died.
I feel
Yeah.
like Surrey's becoming bigger now.
I feel like it's coming.
Surrey's got its vibe. Yeah,
Surrey's got, like a scene coming.
Surrey
up
and
just
Toronto. Toronto's pretty.
yeah.
with the stabbing stuff. You
Yeah.
know, I think Canada is like the hub right now for like.
Well, Canada is
Punjabi
the
music.
population.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just wherever there's a large number of people, you're gonna have that.
How's your
Mhm.
following from India? Like,
I don't know. I mean, majority of it is from India. When it
Yeah.
comes to the numbers, that's gonna be India.
India?
Yeah.
Actually got cheated on. Did you get Santi music?
Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
best music was made when I was like heartbroken and shit.
That's fucking
Yeah,
sick.
It's pretty cool.
That
Like
comes
I
from
look
the
back at
jail.
it now and I'm like, that's good. It's a good thing that happened.
That's where art comes from.
It really does.
Yeah.
I like most people that I know that are very artistic.
Yeah.
They have like that artistic, like they have like raw emotion where it's like there's some sort of a pain in them. Or for some people, it's
Yeah.
like they've just always been so happy and life's
Yeah.
always been great that they make that sort of music. They connect with that. So yeah. What was your question though?
Does your creative side start lacking?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden
I know people that have a relationship with someone who's very controlling.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to get
Right,
at. Like,
right.
you
And
know,
a lot
someone's
of-
trying to say, no, this
A
is
lot of people have that.
Yeah.
Where they're in a relationship which is very controlling. And so you can take it one way or the other. But for some people that kills their art.
Yeah.
For some people it's like the art is an escape from such a shit relationship.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
it's up to you how you're going to use that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some people make that really, really good music because they're in a really bad relationship.
Yeah.
And they escape from it and they can really dedicate their time to the craft.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then if you have a really good relationship and everything's great
Yeah.
and you're trying to make music, then maybe it's not so much straight from the heart.
Yeah.
But I think it's such an individual case and it's depending on the character that you're with and the person that you're with. But I think like Sardilok, we're pretty insecure, most of us.
Yeah.
I think so.
I know?
Yeah.
And I think that's
Most
why
of
like
us.
a lot of relationships don't have like good functionality.
It doesn't
Where
have a
one
good.
person is like limiting the other
Yeah.
by
To a certain extent, yeah.
It's a lot to do with Loki Gange.
yeah, look that's gonna take a really long time to get away.
But then
Like
it's a
some
lot-
people push away from that completely and they go, fuck it. You know what? Loki Gange, let's use that
Mhm.
and just make a Mickey of it. And then
But even like the fundamentals of the relationship like can't be there. How you gonna love another person? You don't love yourself, right?
that's true.
You know what I mean? And
you
that's
know,
so
have you
many
t-
relationships. People
lot
are in
of-
commitments. Like a lot of people can't leave a relationship because
they're used to that
they're
idea.
used to having it.
Yeah.
I
A
reckon
routine, right? It's like quitting your job. You're like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do
it's
for the
like
next
some
month?
sort of addiction of safety.
It's like
some
a
sort
job
of
in a
addiction of
sense.
love in
Yeah.
that way. But I think
Attention as well.
a relationship is a job. Now, this is like a very non-loving way of looking at a relationship. But a lot of people have arranged marriages
Yeah.
Yeah.
that work,
Yeah.
right? So there are arranged marriages that don't work.
Yeah.
There are love marriages that don't work. But there are arranged marriages that work as well.
Yeah.
Where I don't know how they have it figured out. Maybe that's something that you guys can get some couples in on your podcast and try to
Mhm.
talk about. But where they, work with just in respect to each other, and it's not really a lovey-dovey kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's more just practically these two people really get along and they understand each other's position in the relationship and where they're supposed to be, right? So hear me out here for a moment.
This
Yeah.
is like
I
a
reckon
commitment.
Bollywood's fucked up relationships.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Bollywood has killed relationships completely. Because all it talks about is a relationship being like pure love.
Very
Yeah.
true. Yeah, agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Like everything that you see is just sensationalized.
And
Like
that's what we
you're
want.
gonna meet a girl and you're gonna be like, oh,
You're gonna go in the
There's
rain.
gonna be a
like,
happy
that's
ending.
gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
That is not the fucking case, man.
Yeah.
Because what's gonna happen is each time you meet someone that you really like,
It's a new commitment.
there's like a certain level of love and fantasy that you have
Yeah.
towards that person.
Yeah.
And about 6 months later, you realize like this chick farts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's
Pav
like, what
Dharia.
the fuck? Like
It's not
that's not in a
picture perfect.
Bollywood film.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, you get what I mean?
I agree
Yeah,
with
I
Like
agree,
hot
yeah.
chicks actually take
yeah.
a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. And I think that big in our culture because it's like we're going into a relationship, we get all these feelings and we're like, oh, it's picture perfect.
It's right
Yeah.
at the
And
beginning
then-
honeymoon stage. That's
and
what it's
then
called.
that
And as
stage
soon as
ends.
and the honey up to the honeymoon,
Yeah.
like within the
6
honeymoon
months.
stage, it's
Oh,
fucking
it's fucking
beautiful,
flowers.
right?
Oh yeah.
And then it ends, and then you're like, oh, like you don't know what to do, and then there's fights,
yeah.
and like from the fights, then it gets like malicious, right? Then
Yeah.
you start hurting each other
Yeah.
to try
Yeah.
and make yourself feel
Yeah.
validated, and that validation, if you have to begin with, like your
Yeah.
base level, like is
Yeah.
great.
the fundament.
Then like. You know, I used to see like some people would be like, oh, you know, we were in a relationship and then it didn't work out and we separated, but we're still friends. I'm like, what the fuck? How does that work? But for some people that does, because they're so secure and they see that relationship as being something that they have to work on all the time. And
Yeah.
if that, it's like a business
Yeah.
venture.
So those
in a
people
way.
are like
Yeah.
kind of ahead if we really think
in
about
a way,
it.
yeah. So it's
Because
like, you know, with that,
what you usually look at is like, yo, that's your ex. Like, you know, you still talk to your ex, and if you get into a new relationship, no, does the girl want you to be friends with your ex? No. Does the guy
Probably-
want you to be friends with your ex?
probably not. But you
that's a
will
very-
meet a girl that would not have a problem with it.
But
Yeah,
that's
you
a
can,
very
yeah.
the one you want.
mature
Yeah.
way of
Right?
looking at it. Yeah.
And that's the one you like have respect for
You're
as
like,
well.
okay, fine.
So I
Okay.
feel like the girl that you are with, you should have a level of respect for her.
yeah.
But that respect is not going to come from you. Like she has to kind of be a secure person to get that respect, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if that person's really secure, you're not going to be able to fuck that up in terms of blaming it on them if they're
Yeah.
secure.
Yeah.
And if you fuck it up, then you know it's over and that person's gone, right?
Yeah.
And then you're probably not going to find someone that's as secure as that. And then you're going to have problems later.
Yeah.
So there are two types of relationships in that way, right? Or
Yeah.
partners. One's like a really insecure one that wants to know what are you doing now, who
Where
you're talking
are
to,
you?
Yeah.
what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Like helicopter
Yeah.
relationship, let's
Yeah.
call it. The other one kind of doesn't really. It's not that they don't care, but
They're
they
more
give you
nonchalant.
they give you like
Yeah.
this trust that I trust
Mhm.
you and you can do whatever you like, but that makes you feel more like you're valuable because you're trusted.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think even with parents, if I give you my trust,
Yeah.
then you're a lot less likely to, I think, to break it,
Or fuck you over.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than if I
Makes
keep
sense.
watching you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And a lot of parents keep watching everything that their kids do. And then their kids are like coming out of the house in a suit and then going somewhere else in a miniskirt,
Bikini.
right?
Yeah.
But in a bikini. But like if the idea of that girl going out however she wants to go out was okay, right? Because they trust her character,
Yeah.
like the parents trust her character,
Yeah.
then wouldn't she feel more loved and wouldn't she feel more valuable as a person?
So
That they trust me, so I have to make sure that I maintain this level of dignity,
So at the end
respect,
of the
or
circle,
a guy as well
the
in certain
circle
ways.
comes back to your
But
house.
we never have to worry about what we're wearing.
It
I
comes
guess.
back to your house. The circle. It all starts from
So
what
is
you,
everything-
Everything comes back to the way you're raised.
Yeah.
I think.
And
Mhm.
I think what it is with in our culture is our parents. There's times where no one's perfect, but they, as you're growing up, you question them or whatever. They're like, no, we're right, we're perfect, and
Yeah.
that's where it goes wrong
Yeah.
because not everyone's.
I've never heard anyone say I'm not perfect. It's like everyone just
Joe
thinks.
Macchiao will say
Yeah.
right.
So I used to get that from my parents, right?
Yeah, I
Especially
got
my
it a
dad.
lot,
Like Joe
yeah.
Macchiao. I'm like, Dad, I don't care what you said. You got to explain it to me.
Yeah.
And if your system that you've used to come up with this conclusion,
Yeah.
so he has an idea that
Mhm.
something has to be done this way,
Yeah.
and I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that, but only after you explain to me how that is more true than this system,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? And if he's not able to come up with his points as to why that's valid, then I go, well, here's my reason for why this is valid.
Yeah.
And unless your your points make more sense than mine, I don't care whether you're my dad or not. I'm gonna follow this system,
100%.
right? And that's not a disrespect to him being my dad,
Yeah.
because we're still mates,
Yeah.
right?
You're still my father.
I have a very like good relationship with my dad.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that a lot of people they have this. This is what I'm doing. I'm not gonna tell you why I'm doing it,
But you gotta follow it.
but you gotta do it. And if you don't do it, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, you're disrespecting me.
You're disrespecting me.
Yeah.
But you're disrespecting your kid, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you can't trust the person you've raised, there's a problem with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the
Yeah,
communication needs to
Yeah.
happen.
And if you're not trusting the kid you've raised, then maybe you should learn to raise the kid right.
Yeah. Do you feel like the generations from that are coming up, growing up, younger generations, they're more sensitive?
Sensitive?
Yeah.
Sensitive.
In what way?
In a sense that they're not as open to constructive criticism. Like they can't really take much.
I feel like I don't know.
They're
man.
more insecure.
I don't know. I don't have any sort of data on that. Like I think okay, here's the other thing, right? Like we should actually be doing a lot of surveys within our community, asking these questions, trying to figure out like what percentage of people believe in what, so we can start to work on changing our whole community for the better.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as Punjabis, yeah, we're only like 2% of the world or whatever, maybe even less, probably less, 1.3 or something.
Yeah.
6, I guess. Punjabi's a bit more. I don't think we've achieved all that much, like compared to say the Jews. Like most of the Nobel prizes are won by
The Jews.
Why is that? Like, shouldn't we be talking about that and trying to figure out why that is? And imagine we do that. Because I'll tell you what makes money.
Okay.
As far as I'm aware, look how fucking confident I am in this. I've noticed
I'm huge.
the biggest way to make money is to make a product that helps people's lives become better.
Better, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that product then is sold to millions of people, and that's how financially you gain
Find
success.
a problem,
Yeah.
create a solution.
ठीक है?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got like Google CEOs is a brown guy.
Yeah.
So we know brown people aren't dumb.
Yeah.
We're very smart.
Yeah.
If we can work together to bring our smartness onto like the table, I'm talking about North India here, really.
Yeah.
Because South India, they've got it sorted. They're good.
Yeah.
A lot of that comes from them giving their women a lot of rights
Yeah.
and actually respecting their women, getting their women to get married. Like South Indian women, as far as I'm aware, get married a lot later than ours. Like Punjabi women get married like before the age of 25,
Oh, yeah.
most likely. Otherwise, you're expired,
Yeah.
right?
Very true.
Expired. Best
Oh.
before date.
Oh yeah, common. Right?
Yeah. And like, why?
Spoiled milk.
Because that comes from our parents, right?
It does, but isn't that kind of shit? Like, if they make you feel like by the age, if you're a guy, by the age, if you're not something by the age of 30, then you're done.
You shit.
Then you're done. Like, kuch nahi hona tera. Then
Might as well just stay at
there
home
is
the rest
no
of your
hope.
life.
There's no future,
Yeah.
anything like that. Then that's not a good way to live. And the other thing is, we're no longer dying at the age of 50.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 kids that they had aren't dying anymore. That's like like
That's
my
weird.
grandparents had 8 kids,
Yeah.
and all 8 of them survived. So I have 7 uncles and aunties. But that's where the population boom came from, right?
Yeah.
So India is 1.3 is because all of a sudden vaccinations came in,
Yeah.
and a lot of the kids that were dying from malnutrition, as well as a lot of health actually birth like problems at birth, or like within the first, I think, 6 months or something
Yeah.
like that, they stopped dying.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like, you had people that were having 8 kids, or they were actually having like 4 or 5 kids,
Yeah.
and then most of them would die, and you'd have 2 kids left, which is why the world population didn't really increase all that much,
Yeah.
right? And then what happened is, like, because of medication and because of modern delivery methods,
Yeah.
most kids started surviving.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, population growth went from here to like here,
Boomed. Yeah.
right? That's what happened in India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So India's going to peak out at 1.3, and then it's going to stop.
Well, it's surpassing China, isn't it?
Yeah, but it'll
So,
stop.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
going to keep going.
Yeah.
And like going back to, there was a point. I always fucking do this. There was a point to this.
What are you talking about?
We were talking about something.
Talking about some shit.
India, how they already have this.
Yeah, how they have world population.
No, before that.
No,
Or
it was
that-
about vaccinations.
Vaccination, before that.
how we need to have surveys. And
Yeah, surveys.
Surveys,
So we have to have surveys so we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Got it.
And
we
then
got it.
we're back. We're back.
Hey, welcome back.
And just to learn what our population is doing,
Yeah.
and be connected with everyone within us, especially like different colors. Right? It's like I would hate the idea of if someone ever says in front of me like kala ho gaya ja tera rang bahut gora, I fucking hate that. My mom says that when she sees a girl, kitna gora rang hai. I'm like, fuck, like what is wrong with you? But I get it because to them there is a naturally their brain automatically does that. Automatically, someone who's like white skinned is like has a lot more value than someone who's
But
dark
let's be
skinned.
real, a lot of us kids growing up, that's all we see too, because we've been told
Yeah,
constantly,
exactly. So your brain is
technically
gonna
we're attracted to that more than that.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like darker girls, you tend to find not attractive.
Yeah.
I find darker girls attractive. Like I find like
Yeah.
darker skin more attractive.
Yeah.
Right? And anytime I tell anyone that, they're like really surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, man.
But like,
That's
why?
like-
What's
It's
wrong
the
with that?
inherited racism that we have.
We have.
It's like
Maybe
God-
I
it's
have
like-
it the other way around.
Yeah.
There.
It's like Donald Trump, right?
Why
All
you
of a
hating
sudden-
on
I probably have it the
light-skinned
other way around. But all I'm saying, like, even going back to that, is like we can't call people racist and go, "Oh fuck,
Yeah.
you're racist," when we're so racist.
Like that saying, "Kaliyan to dur rehna," right? Like, why is
Like,
that there?
why?
And
Yeah.
then again, it starts in our families.
But okay, now
three
go
out of
back
the four
to that.
people
Yeah.
here have
Now,
said it.
to their defense,
Yeah.
to their defense, they will say, "Kaliyan to dur hai," or like, this person or these people are bad because maybe the people they've encountered have been
Bad
a
experience.
certain color.
Yeah.
So to them, it's like they haven't encountered that many people.
And in their time, there was a lot of racism. Too.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if they grew up
black
in,
people
like,
have been
Canada or
pushed
something like
back
that.
so hard in terms of their growth. It's gonna take them a while to come up on par with same Saudi issue, or like for them to be on par with like the rest of the world
Yeah.
in terms of overall community being in a good shape.
It's like a scar. It's gonna take time to heal.
It's gonna take time to heal.
Yeah.
But if we can understand that, even as Punjabis, we've had big issues with India and Punjab and the things that happened in the 80s as well,
Yeah.
right? There's two ways of us dealing with that. One is to keep looking at that scar and keep getting angry,
Keep picking at it.
right? Keep picking at it.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it, I think.
Yeah.
Keep picking at that scar, and I don't think it'll ever heal that way.
No.
Or we go, you know what? That's done. What next?
Yeah.
How do we make our community overall and our people better?
Honestly, it's like coming together is like. one
But
of the
why
biggest
would I
things.
want to come together?
Well, how else, or how do you think that we would make the community better?
I don't know. Because that's the number one question that I have is how do I help in making the community better for them to sort of be a little bit more educated.
It starts
and
with-
not trust, I think. Like,
Well, even
we
like
need to
we've been
trust
talking about,
our
I
own
think it
people in a
starts.
way.
This starts in the home.
But I think
I think it starts in the family.
Yeah.
And if you can sort families out and you can sort family dynamics out, this is why I love these sort of podcasts, because maybe it's something I can learn as well and try and understand. If you can understand, like, sort families out and the interaction with their kids, I think the next generation naturally just stays connected to their roots.
people need to open their minds more. They need to be more open-minded, willing to, like.
But how do you say people need to be open-minded? Well, how do you make that happen? I guess
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's the hard part.
I feel like
I think it
kids are
starts. I think
becoming
it
more
starts with
open.
us.
I
So
think
if
it
we're
starts-
going home
Yeah.
and constantly questioning our parents and
Yeah.
trying to get them to open
But I
their
think
minds.
respectfully. I think
Yeah.
that's really.
Respectfully, out of
So there's two
respect.
ways of doing
Yeah.
that too. Like, one is where you just go, "Mom and Dad, I don't give a fuck."
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
this or that. Maybe sometimes I do that. I should probably change that as well.
I
And
think
be
we all-
like a little
yeah,
bit more. Like we all
yeah.
do that, right?
There's ways.
And be more respectful and
Yeah.
tell them that whatever your ways, I get it. I
I agree.
understand it.
There's
But
a time.
there's
other
a time
ways
and place.
too.
There's other ways too.
There was a time this might have been true, but
Yeah.
we're living in a different time now.
Yeah.
But the
Right?
thing is, even like subconsciously, if at home like these conversations are happening, like stuff like they're saying
Yeah.
stuff like this, etc., it's gonna subconsciously come into your mind. It's gonna
there's
keep
not enough
coming
content either, right?
So even like when you're at home
Yeah.
and even somebody just says something, they just say something maybe a little bit racist or something like that, or say something, but you ignored it. You just pretend like it never happened.
Mhm.
That's where it starts, and it's
Yeah.
gonna keep going.
And if you
'cause
can
it doesn't
kinda cut
stop.
back
if
on
you
it and go,
cut
"No, no,
that
no,
part
no."
out right there,
Yeah.
then I think we'd be better.
But then,
yeah, talk to me more about why you think that is.
yeah.
Rather than go, no, that's fucked.
So let's
Talk
look at
to
it
me
this
more about
way.
what you think
You
that
go
is.
home, you talk to your dad.
Yeah.
He's a bit more open-minded now. He
Yeah.
goes home, talks to his dad. He's a bit more open-minded. I
Yeah.
do it. Then when the three of them meet, then
Yeah.
they're both gonna have a different perspective.
And I
on
think
things.
they'll also say like, our bache actually be be, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll be connected to them. I
Yeah.
think maybe our problem now is that we think our parents are hypocrites.
yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you're honest, right?
Yeah, so you're like really true to what you believe in, and like we feel like we're scared of our parents all the time. Like I
Yeah.
think there's a level
You have a
of fear.
certain guard up.
There's a level of fear that
Yeah.
naturally parents should have,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's with respect, you know, like
That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's something that's there.
You want to be scared of your parents.
a little bit,
A little bit.
but you also want to be able to have a mind where if you have a question, it's your parents' responsibility to answer that.
It's not.
And if they can't
yeah.
answer that, then the first thing they need to understand is to say, I don't have the knowledge to answer that.
Yeah.
Not, don't ask me that question.
not because
Like
ego.
that's the
right?
yeah. You gotta flip that switch over,
Yeah.
and you go, "Mainu nahi pata, but let's try and figure this out together."
together, and that's where it
Yeah.
starts.
So I think like I said this in other podcasts too. I think our parents don't take enough responsibility for our growth,
They-
our mental growth.
You know what it is? I think it is this. Okay, ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ Canada ਆਏ ਹਾਂ.
Huh?
ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ. We made all this for our kids.
Yeah.
Now you guys grow up,
Yeah.
go to school,
Yeah.
find a wife, get married.
Yeah.
This is all for you guys.
Yeah. But it's like it's
they,
not
they
really.
think
Is
that's
it?
the responsibility.
It's not
Yeah.
really, is it?
No.
No.
But they don't understand that there's more of a responsibility to your kids.
Yeah.
Like they're growing up in front of you for
Yeah.
you to create people that are like good in
Good
society.
humans.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's your job. Their
Yeah.
job, they in their minds is okay. We've made money.
Yeah.
We've done that all our lives. Whether we spent time with
so
our
much.
kids.
We've done so much hard work and actually not spent most. Like so
Yeah.
many people haven't spent time with their kids
Yeah, and I don't know if
because
it's
they've
with
worked
you.
so hard, but
Yeah.
then they've lost their kids because like they don't
Exactly.
have those conversations with their kids.
Exactly.
Like even they know that.
Exactly.
My dad says, you know, ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਿਆਣਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ
Yeah.
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ.
Yeah.
I think about this as have most people like in our community even have like the birds and the bees talk really with their parents?
No,
No.
we don't talk about sex.
Nothing.
Why not? I tell you why. Because
Why?
Punjabi is not a language designed to talk about sex.
Very true. Yes.
So it's hard to have a conversation in Punjabi.
How are you gonna talk about it, right?
You know,
If you can't, right?
Comes off very
Yeah.
dirty.
it does. It's sleazy.
Yeah.
It's because sex has always been one of those things that's taboo,
Yeah.
and it is taboo, like within that language.
Yeah.
And for you to talk about it openly, it requires a shift in the language.
So would you rather have a teacher talk about it with their son, or you personally have that conversation?
Both.
Yeah.
I would. I feel like I would be very, very open with my kids when it comes
Yeah.
to that.
But
Yeah.
even the school teaching it as well. But this is like weird how they like kind of teach it. It's kind of like show.
Look, I
show a
actually don't
video.
know too much about
Yeah.
what they do at school.
Yeah.
Because I came when I started schooling, all of that was already done apparently.
Yeah.
So I joined a little bit later. I learned from my cousins, and I was like, "Well, that's fucked
Learn
up."
from experience, right?
Yeah.
All right,
It
should
took-
we wrap things up? Yeah.
No,
All right.
not
Well, we want to thank you for coming on, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Had a good
Thank you,
time.
sir.
Cheers.
Thanks for making time out.
Cheers.
Sorry for all the
Everyone,
delays.
You know,
Nah, that's all good.
we are the Bains and Beers podcast.
And we out.